Welcome to The Point of View. This is your favorite current affairs show on television. Point of View is live and is bringing you discussions on issues that matter to you. We ask all the relevant questions and, of course, we give you some useful insights. Tonight, we're stepping away from all the controversy to talk about football, the nation's passion. The Ghana Black Stars have not one, not two, possibly 5 new additions following the reveal of a Spanish winger, hitherto Basque Athletic Bilbao's Inaki Williams. He says he's coming back to his roots to play for the Black Stars. A few other players have made the switch. Tonight, I invite my sports journalist friends to help us understand what all of this means for our chances in the FIFA 2022 World Cup. It's going to be exciting. Send us your comments and your views. Who is your favorite Black Stars player? Which of the new players are you looking forward to seeing most? And can we do better than we did in our 2010 World Cup? All of that and more in the next hour. Stay with us. Welcome back. So tonight it's about the Ghana Black Stars, the nation's passion, trying to bring back the love. Ketokraku promised to bring back the love. The AFCON was a disaster, but our qualification for the World Cup has brought back a bit of that. Ghana managed to pip Nigeria to Qatar on their away goals rule, and a lot of people credit that to the technical team led by Otto Addo with assistance from George Boateng, and of course, the former Brighton and Hove Albion head coach, Chris Hughton, not forgetting Masoud Didi Dramani, and a host of other technical minds. So tonight I have in studio Danielle Cranting. He's our sports journalist here at Citi. He's been looking into the Black Stars. He was there in Nigeria after the 1-1 draw that took us to Qatar. Danny, welcome to the show.
Hi, Bernard. It's great to be here.
It must be very important to get you to leave your schedule to join me on this show. So thank you for being here. We also have, for the first time on The Point of View in over 3 years, Baba Rahman, not the left back for Reading, but he's the central midfielder for sports journalists. Baba Rahman is joining us. He is a UK-based sports journalist these days. Baba, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Bernard, for having me. And you should add that I worked at Citi FM on the sports desk before moving to the UK.
Fantastic. I'm sure our viewers will be happy to hear that. So I want to start by showing the tweet of the FA chairman, because I think that was what set all of us sports fans agog. So he lists them: Tariq Lamptey, Inaki Williams, Mohamed Salah, Stephen Ambrosius, Patrick Fefa, and Ransford-Yeboah available for national selection. Below, yours truly with the dad of Tariq. Bro, thanks for the trust and determination to see Ghana. This is Ketokraku tweeting this. He looks very happy. How big is this? And then you had another tweet from the FA. Welcome to Black Stars. This is George Boateng, the assistant coach. Welcome to Ghana Black Stars, Inaki Williams. And then there are a few other tweets that I'll show you as the show runs on. Then there's also the big story of Salisu, possibly Ghana's best defender on the world stage, has finally agreed to join the Ghana Black Stars. We have tweets from people like Michael Lysian. We are told, Andre, are you the captain? Everybody is excited. Danny, how big is this news? How big is this development? What FA chairman just showed us?
Look, Bernard, it's huge. It's not just that new players are coming to the Black Stars. It's the quality of players who are coming in. These are reputable guys in Europe. You look at Inaki Williams. He's been playing at Bilbao for the last 7 years. In fact, he has the record for the most appearances, consecutive appearances.
Wow.
Yes, he stayed fit. He's played every single game, I think, for the last 6 years. And that is huge. You look at Tariq Lamptey. He's highly rated in the Premier League and right back. There are quite some others. Look at Mohamed Salah, who since he joined the Premier League, his stock has just risen season after season, and he's one of the best central defenders in the Premier League. So when you have guys like this walking into the Black Stars team, it just automatically increases the quality we have in the team, and also adds some certain level of personality in the team. When the opposition line up in the tunnel and they look and they see Andre Ayew, they see Thomas Partey, they see Yaki Williams, they see that this is a team that can easily compete with any of the top teams in the world because of the quality, because of the personality that they have.
So this is big in football terms. This is big psychologically.
Yeah.
And then in terms of the branding of the Black Stars as well.
Very, very, very huge. Because look, you you go back and you look at the team we took to the AFCON, you compare it to the team we took to the playoff game against Nigeria, and then you sit down with these new additions and you draw your dream 26, provided, of course, you are adding these new guys. You see, in terms of quality, there's a huge gap. These guys are certainly bringing their quality and their pedigree into the Black Stars. So it's something everybody wanted. Look, we are in the transfer window. Clubs who finished first in the league are still trying to improve their teams. Who finished second, third, everybody is buying players, better players to improve their squad. So of course,
so we're also in the transfer window.
We're also in the transfer window.
Black
If you are going to the World Cup, you need quality, you need to improve your squad, and that's exactly what the Black Stars are doing.
Rahman, how big is this for you, following the team from where you are based?
Well, it's massive. If you ask how big it is, because the Black Stars are going to the World Cup in a few months' time, and I think it's the aspiration of the current crop of players and every Ghanaian that they just don't go and add up to the numbers. They go and perform very well like they did in 2010, where they were the best team on the continent, and they were just one penalty kick away from becoming the first ever African team to go all the way to the semi-final. Inaki Williams' inclusion, for me personally, I think he's a quality player. He's got experience. He's got a pedigree. He's scored a lot of goals in the Spanish league. And I'm just a bit concerned about the way he comes into the team, because a few years ago at his peak, he didn't feel enough Ghanaian. And all of a sudden he feels Ghanaian to play. So, I mean, it's just a message at which it brings across, because he said himself that he didn't feel Ghanaian enough to play. Then a few months now, he's back into it. I also have a bit of problem with the way the FA president is going about it, because having followed football for a while, I think that you should be very careful when you're celebrating when players say they'll play with the national team, because you then try not to upset the current crop of players and make them look like they're not really that good enough. And also, the last thing I would like to add is that we should just be careful with the number of them we put in, because there's evidence to show that normally when diasporan Africans come to Africa, sometimes they find our culture and the way we do things quite difficult to settle in. Most African players sometimes can be superstitious, and that could sometimes come across as magical in front of maybe somebody who's grown up all his life in England or Europe. So these are just the little concerns. And sometimes you are building a team, or you have a core of a team that have qualified to go to the World Cup. And in as much as you want quality to augment the team and make it really solid in all aspects, you have to be very careful not to disrupt the foundation. Because I remember when we had Kelvin Prince-Boateng on the pitch, he was equally really good, but he caused us a lot of problems. And credit to him, some of the problems were not because he wanted to cause problems. They were because he wasn't used to the way we do things. So players like Callum, players like Tariq, they are really good footballing wise, but there's a cultural change that will happen to them once they decide to play for us.
We'll come to that. So you're basically saying it's 50-50. On one hand, it's a good move, but on the other hand, we have to be careful. I just wanted to show us what Inaki himself said. He did a reveal, and I watched it. A lot of interesting things about how his parents inculcated some things in him, and he's going back to his roots. Let's just see what he said before we even discuss player by player what they bring, and then also the Salisu, which is the one I'm most excited about because I follow him and I think he's one of the best defenders I've seen. But this is what Inaki himself said to the world. I think it was yesterday. Right, so that was Inaki Williams. He was speaking Spanish. Why was he speaking Spanish?
That's his first language. So yeah, okay. You can understand that.
So where was he born?
He was born in Spain.
Okay.
He was born in Spain, yes. To Ghanaian parents. But they brought him up. They didn't take the Ghanaian culture out of him. So I understand he speaks Twi.
He speaks Twi?
Yeah, he speaks Twi at home. He frequents Ghana quite a lot. In fact, this wasn't the first time he comes to Ghana. He comes to Ghana almost every summer, because he has family here too. So
he speaks Twi and Spanish?
And Spanish, and the English is not the
so
best.
So you tell, and Pasibon, Ibra?
Yeah, Fabon Mame. Yeah, then he fights inside the pool. But yeah,
wow.
So he's pretty comfortable. So I understand Raman's culture issues. But in terms of the general Ghanaian culture, I feel like he's quite used to it. It will be the integration into the Black Star setup itself that may be a bit. Of course, you have to be warmed up into it. But when it comes to our way of life over here, I think.
But let me ask, what percentage? Most of the Black Stars play abroad, right? So Raman, why should it be a problem if Kamal Dean was born in Ghana but plays in Rennes and can adapt to French culture? Why can't Inaki, born in Spain, link up with Kamal Dean, who plays in France? Why should it be a problem? As an example.
Okay, so this is why it could be a problem, is that we've had this before in 2014. If you remember the episode between Fatal Dauda and Adam Korase, because we had tried as much as possible to get Korase play for us. There was that expectation that because we had chased him a lot, he should be given a place in the team. Again, we're doing the same thing with people like Callum and Tariq, and I say Callum hasn't played in the last maybe 4 or 5 months because of injury. On current form, Jordan and maybe Kamal are ahead of him. But if you chase a player for maybe so many years, he comes into the team expecting to play. Now you begin to get problems if he comes into the team and he's not playing. Because I know how footballers are. And so that's why I'm saying that the way you go about the chase could lead to problems. Because if you publicly celebrate it, you give him a sense of entitlement. That means that he's really massive. And he comes into the team and others, the performance level of others are high. And I know Callum, I watch Callum play all the day. When he's back fit and in form and performing, he'd go really high. But on current form now, because he's got a bad Achilles heel.
So you're referring to Callum Hudson-Odoi, Chelsea?
Yeah, which we are chasing at the moment. We've got Tariq already, and we've got Salisu now, we've got Inaki now, and we are chasing Edin Ketia also. I mean, don't get me wrong, they are really good quality. They bring so many things to the team, like Cranting said earlier on. It's really good visibility. It gives us a lot of eyeballs, adds quality, adds depth to us. But I'm also very careful, having followed the Black Stars for a very long time. I know that there are certain things that could upset everything we've done. And some of them are not even on the football pitch. It's the way the team prepares. It's the culture with which the team prepares. And I give example of some of the recent histories we've had, especially with Korase, eventually when he left, because he had problems with the technical team and the way they were doing stuff and the way they picked the team. And there was a sense that he expected to be the number one. And anytime he faced competition, he stayed behind. The same with Kevin Preswatin. He didn't understand why we went about doing certain things the way we do them. And sometimes they are right because they are not used to it. But if in the end it's just on football and quality, it's a really, really good thing to have all these options.
All right.
And just being very mindful of the other things.
Okay, so let's deal with Inaki properly. Let's show his numbers. How good a player is he, Daniel? How great is he?
The reason why I'm personally happy about this Inaki thing is dynamism. So let's put it into context. First of all, he's very consistent. His fitness levels are way over the roof. I mentioned the consecutive appearances record.
Over 200?
Over 200. That is over 6 or 5, 6
And he's
seasons.
only 20. How old is he?
He's 28.
Wow.
You look at 38 games. It means he played every single game.
Every single game for Athletic Bilbao.
For Athletic Bilbao last season. 8 goals for a team like Athletic Bilbao is okay. You look at his shots, 94, that's third in the league. And this is something that we need to put into context, because if you look at the Black Stars under Otto Addo, we don't take enough shots. So the Black Stars average about 12 shots a game, of which 2 are on target every game. So if you are
2 out of 12,
if you play 6 matches, if you play 6 matches and you are getting an average of 2 shots on target a game, you are certainly not going to score goals. So, and it also translates into our goal scoring record. We scored 6 in the last 6. That's 1 goal every game. So what it means is that, Bernard, if Black Stars are not keeping a clean sheet, we are not winning games, which is very problematic. And if you look at that team start, it just shows you that they always take that extra pass. They don't have that instinctive shooter, somebody who would like to take initiative and put the ball in the back of the net, and that is problematic. But with Inaki Williams, he attempts from anywhere. He will go for goal. And Johan Cruyff said, if you don't shoot, you are not going to score.
His XG is 14.
It's 14. So what it means is that he was supposed to score 14 goals last season. Yes, and that's
so he underperformed.
He underperformed, and that's where my problem is with him because of his poor finishing.
So he's wasteful.
He's very wasteful. He's very wasteful.
So what is his best attribute?
His best attribute is, for me, is his movement.
All right.
Yes, he can play a number of different positions. He can play out wide, both on the left and on the right. He can play as a centre forward. But he's not your typical standing number 9 who is waiting for.
So he can play right, left.
Right, left.
Can he play from the middle?
Yes, he can play from the middle. Last season he was playing as a centre forward. But when I talk about the dynamism, he's not that standing striker. His movement is excellent, and he's the sort of player that brings the best out of the players around him. So when you have somebody like that, you're almost guaranteed that the likes of Kudus, Kamal, Dean, Jordan, Ayew, who are playing around him, will also get in on the action. He's not waiting for them to create for him, and that in itself can redefine our attacking structure as a team because of the sort of player that he is.
Rahman, on a purely footballing analysis of this guy, how good is he from your perspective?
Yeah, he's got something that terrifies defenders, and that's he's good at running at defenders, which most defenders don't like. And if you speak to modern day defenders, they like strikers who are static, so then they can pick their spot, they know how to move. But from the highlights you're even showing, he's got an attribute that he's turning, he's taking the ball on, and he's running at goal. And that's what the likes of even Kylian Mbappe, that's their main strength. When they get the ball, they run at goal, they are strong, they can hold up, they can create, they can score. He's tall, he can play on the left, he can play on the right, he can play through the middle. So on the footballing level, he certainly improves our first 11 instantly, not the squad.
So does he walk in? Does he walk into the team?
Yeah, no, straight in on every score. On every score, he walks.
He walks into the team
because of straight because he's got stuff and things that most of our strikers
don't have. All right,
have. One of them again is just his pedigree on the big stage. He's been bossing the Spanish.
So he will not be intimidated by Ronaldo or Hyun Min Song or whatever his name is. Hyun Min Song.
Yes, I will not be intimidated by, even though Son is a really good footballer too. He's really good. He's terrified.
See. So when he sees Darwin Núñez in the tunnel against Uruguay, he will just say, "You are a small boy." Because I know you cover games. You cover games in England, so I'm sure you see some of the histrionics the players do in the tunnel and stuff. So personality is important, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, Troy Deeney, who was captain of Watford, once told me that he knows he will score from the tunnel because he sizes the defenders. He can tell from their body language if they are on it. And sometimes the first ball comes and he gives a body check and he finds out that, they're really at it or they're on the game. It's the same thing. If we have a centre forward like Inaki Williams, who's played with the likes of PK, Puyol, and Sergio Ramos, and all these big players, he knows what it means to play in the big stage. So on a footballing level, it's just all praise because he comes into a team where most people would dream to have the kind of career he's had. He's broken records in the top league in Spain and all that. There's really, really, really nothing to bring him down on that score. It's just that I just keep saying that on the social level, we just have to be slightly careful with the integration or we blow it all up.
Fair enough. Let's talk about the list. Daniel, in the list the FA chairman put out, obviously Inaki is the biggest. Which is the second most important name you saw in that list?
Mohamed Salisu.
Mohamed Salisu.
By far.
Before Tariq Lamptey.
Before Tariq Lamptey.
Mohamed Salisu.
For me, I'll put, in terms of importance to this team, I'll put Mohamed Salisu at the top.
Salisu even before Inaki?
Yes, for me.
Seriously?
Yes. And
wow.
It's because, look, first of all, in these things, you have to look at how Otto Addo wants to shape up. And if you look at the 6 games he's played, he experimented a 3-back system against Nigeria. Or went to the Kirin Cup in Japan, the 4-nation tournament. In both games, he used a 3-back system. Even in the Madagascar, the first AFCON qualifier against Madagascar, there were portions in the game where our build-up play was from a 3-back system. You've seen him, when he's played that 3-back system, he's always used Gideon Mensah, who is a natural left back, as the left-sided centre back. And it just shows you how much he's wanted a pure or a natural left-sided centre back.
Okay.
In modern day football, like it's such a sought after attribute. Central defenders who are left-footed, because we all know the importance of playing from the back these days. It's a split second can create a chance, they can make a chance. And for right-footed players who play on that side, their passing angles are they are not as good as a left. They can't see a pass, or they can't execute a pass as well as left-footed centre back. So, especially playing on their natural side. So that is why you need somebody like Salisu, who is very used to that position, who is very good on the ball. He can drive through the middle. He has a good passing range, a good passing ability. So he walks into this team for me. And you see, all these players, not just Salisu, you need. And I think that's where I need to commend the GFA, and you can also commend the technical team. When you look at the individual players and their profiles, these are guys who can play in a number of different positions. So I can give you an example. When Ghana faced Nigeria in the second leg of the playoff game, in the first half, they started with a 4-back system. When they wanted to change to a 3-back, they had to make 3 substitutions at halftime in order to change to the 3-back. And in a high-profile game, on any other day,
you can't do that.
Yeah, you can't do that.
So the flexibility was not there.
The flexibility wasn't there because of the lack of personnel who could who are, of course, multi-faceted. But let me give you an example. If Ghana is playing, let's say, Gideon Mensah, a back four of Gideon Mensah, Mohamed Salisu, Amate, and then Tariq Lamptey. They are playing Baba Idrisu and Partey as holding midfielders. And in the second half or in game,
they want to switch to 3-back.
They easily drop Baba Idrisu inside the middle. They take Amate to the right-hand side. Salisu makes the center, the 3.
So
then you
3.
push
Tariq forward.
Tariq forward to the right. You push Gideon
to the left.
To the left. Let's say you have your number 10 is Kudus. Kudus has played defensive midfield before for Ajax. He's played central midfield before for Ajax. You drop him.
So with just one change.
With just one
you can achieve the formation that 3 changes
exactly
needed.
And that is the importance of having players who are naturally suited to a number of different positions. And we look at the profile of these guys. Salisu like this can play at times. In fact, when he was in Spain, there were times where he played as a left back. He can play as a left-sided centre back. So that is 2 positions. You've experimented with Gideon Mensah, and you can see that he can play both as a centre back and as a left back. You have Tariq Lamptey, who can be a wing back and a right full back, because we've seen natural wing backs who can't play in a back 4. They are liabilities when they come into a back 4. So when you have players like that, it really helps the coach. And you want to have that sort of headache when you are choosing your 26-man squad. A lot of players with quality, a lot of players who can do a number of things.
We'll come back to this. So Danielle Cranting thinks that the addition of Salisu is possibly even more important than Inaki. So in his ratings, Salisu is actually the most important addition. We'll talk to Rahman about that as well. We'll speak about Tariq Lamptey, and then a couple of interesting names I'm seeing. Patrick Fefa, Stefan Ambrosius, and Ransford-Yeboah. Who are these people? All of these and more on the point of view. Tonight is about football. My guest, Danielle Cranting, Citi sports journalist, and Baba. I call him Baba Rahman, although we call him Rahman. What's your surname?
Osman.
Rahman Osman. We call him Baba Rahman. He's a London-based journalist, used to be with Citi. He's back for Salah. He's a big man. We'll be right back. Welcome back. The point of view tonight is on the football. The Ghana Black Stars gearing up for Qatar 2022. Keto Kraku, the FA chairman or president, has released the name of 5 new additions to the Black Stars. He's also announced that Salisu Mohamed has agreed to play for Ghana after initially refusing to do so. Let me read a few of your comments. Good evening, Bernard. Inaki Williams' switch simply means Ghana will now get a consolation goal against Portugal, courtesy of Inaki. This is from Roland Gambero in Asham. I don't know what he means by consolation goal. Bernard, it's about time we put an end to this attitude of going for so-called experienced players after seemingly young and talented ones help us qualify for a tournament. You won't see this in world-class teams like Spain, Germany, and the rest. Let's build what we have. Period. This is from Fred Osukastle. Another one coming in from Kweku says, Bernard, I'm happy for Nyaki because Ghana has virtually no striker in the team. But Rama, let me just come to you quickly on the issue of Salisu. Danny thinks for him, is actually the most important addition to this team, even higher than the Inaki addition. Do you agree with him?
Partly on that. I also don't think Inaki's addition is the most important one, only because of age. I think he's 28. The ones that really excite me is somebody like Tariq, because he's really young. He's got he's got everything in front of him. Could have still held on his card on England and still pushed to play for England, but he's thrown that away quickly and decided to come to Ghana. And age is on his side. You'd bet to think that his best years as a footballer are still ahead of him. If we do get Edin Ketia and Callum also, that means that we are getting young players that we can get the best out of them for the next 10 years. Same with Salisu also. So, yeah, Inaki is good, especially on short term and going to the World Cup and the excitement he brings and the pedigree he brings and the difference he brings, because as Ghanaians, we like different and new things and those kind of things ginger us up. But I think on the long term, as a country and what the benefits of these young players who are just about taking off in their career, deciding to play for us is what really it's the importance. On the tactical flexibility and all that, I just think that when you're going to a major tournament like the World Cup, most coaches don't try to do the tweaking he's talking about, like moving from 3 at the back to 4. Normally what coaches do is that they go on a system, they work on the system and they perfect the system based on the players they have, and then they go into the competition. Like when France went to the World Cup and won the World Cup, they played a counter-attacking system of football where they didn't need the ball, but they used the pace of players like Kylian Mbappe, Antoine Griezmann, and they used a decoy in Olivier Giroud, who didn't score a goal in the tournament, was one of the best players for France. So in the end, it's more about just finding something that works for you and brings the strength.
But I think on that point, I think, Daniel, that's why you're saying that it looks like this coach wants to play a system and he's looking for players who fit into that system.
Exactly.
So that's why I'm saying that it's quite risky to especially in a major tournament like the World Cup, to twist and turn, mostly given the evidence that's been passing it, and people find, like, so classical example, England. When England got to the semis of the World Cup, they played a 3 at the back, and anytime England also did very well under Southgate is because he's always played with the handbrakes on, with 3 defenders, 2 holding midfielders in Rice and Phillips. Just that's what has worked for him, and even though he gets a lot of bashing, it's the system that he trusts.
So can we say that this coach wants to do 3 back? Is that what? Because is that the impression we get?
I think so, only because of the Nigerian game. And Ghanaian, like most journalists, are quick to point to the Nigerian game. But in earnest, I think that's a really, really poor example to use, because that game was a quite unique game. We didn't need to win that game. So it was quite straightforward. We put so many men behind the ball. And once we went back to Nigeria for the second leg and Thomas scored, we didn't even need to kick the ball. We just kept 5 people behind the ball. When you go to the World Cup, you don't have to put 5 people behind the ball. You need to score goals. You need to win games or you're out. So that's the test. And we need to start thinking about how to attack differently, to create opportunities for our attackers, to create goal-scoring chances. And in the last 5 games or 4 games under this new manager, I think we play best when we are defending. In the Kiri Cup, in fact, our best game, which was the one against Japan, the one won on penalties, we got a man sent off or 2 people sent off, and because we were defending, we started playing very well. So it's quite unique that people say, oh, in Nigeria, but in Nigeria, we didn't need to win the game. We just needed not to lose the game. And that psychology is different.
Interesting. So I see, but you are saying that based on the players he's bringing in, you can tell he wants to do 3-5-2.
Yeah, 3-5-2 or 3-4-3, because it's a trend. It's not just the second leg against Nigeria. The first leg against Nigeria, our attacking build-up was per 3-back system. So when we're building from the back, you had Baba dropping in to make a back 3, and then we built. It happened in the second leg, second half against Nigeria. It happened, I've mentioned the 2 Kirin Cup games. And you see, the reason why I'm very sure that that's what he's going for, if you have 2 games which you are going to use to as dress rehearsals for the World Cup, you are going to test your mettle. The systems you use there are probably the systems you are going to and you are planning on using. He used a back three in both games. It's not like he used back three and then back four in the other game. He used a back three in both games. And when he speaks about needing a left-sided centre back, the importance of that in that back three system, you can tell that that is what he wants to do. That's why the inclusion of Salisu was so important to him, because it looks like that is a system that he wants to use. And I don't fault him for that, because frankly speaking, in modern day football, the back three offers the best balance. You don't have to be the most attacking team to win matches. If you're able to defend very well, if you're able to be efficient in putting your chances away, you can get it. We saw Tuchel do that when he came to Chelsea. He sat from behind, he watched them. As soon as he walked in, his first game changes into a back three. And Chelsea had one of the best defensive records till the end of the season. In fact, up to now, if you look at his 1 year in charge, you look at Antonio Conte. You've heard Klopp complain about him. You've heard Pep complain about him, because that system is very difficult to break down. And at the same time, too, whilst it's very difficult to break down, it can easily catch you and put you under a lot of pressure.
So you are pretty sure Otto Addo wants to play that system?
Exactly, because of the trend that we've seen, and because of the sort of players that he's including his team, and the sort of players that he's speaking about needing.
How good is Tariq Lamptey? I wanted you to show his numbers a bit for me. I've watched him a few times. He seems to be very quick.
Look, he's quick, he's explosive. He's a defender's nightmare, honestly. And most of the time...
So he also runs, when he's playing on the wing back, he runs.
He can dribble, he's very good with the ball. His crossing ability, in fact, he made the most crosses for Brighton last season.
Wow. If you look even more than Cucurella?
Even more than Cucurella. He played just 30 games and he didn't start most of the 30 games. In fact, because of injury and things like that, he had to be coming off the bench and sit out a number of games. But his crossing is very good, very explosive, very pacey. And Rama mentioned something about Inaki Williams, his ability to pick the ball and run at opposition. Tariq Lamptey is one of those players. And you see, when you have a right back or a right wing back who possesses that sort of skill, defenders don't like it, because what it means is that when he's coming at you, he's almost like a natural winger. When you are coming at him, he also has the ability to defend like a right back. So he has that perfect balance. And once he's fit, once we have him in this team, I think he's a serious upgrade.
Is he good defensively?
He's good defense, especially one-on-one defense, because of his pace. He has the ability to recover. So players who actually rely on pace to dribble opposition cannot really get past him. It's very difficult. He was, I think, the last 2 seasons, he was man of the match against Liverpool. He won the man of the match against Arsenal also. Brighton's man of the match. Yes,
he just gave somebody Sulia right now.
Yeah, that was Marcos Alonso. Marcos Alonso collected it.
He's giving Sulia. Yeah. But okay, Rahman, I'm sure you've seen him in the flesh, because you've covered a lot of games in the UK. I mean, how good is this guy? He looks very small to me. He looks very short.
Yeah, he's quite tiny. He's very tiny. But for me, his greatest asset is his mindset. When Brighton first signed him, because I know him quite well, I spoke to his manager, Graham Potter, at Brighton, and he's told me something that stayed with me about him. He said that beyond the football and running at defenders and his low center of gravity that gives him so much strength and the explosiveness and all, he's got a very strong mentality that works for him. And that's that he never gets too excited when things are going well for him. And he never gets too down when things are not going on well for him.
Wow.
And for a very young man to have such a mindset, it's quite rare to see in modern day football. When he was coming through the ranks at Chelsea, he had the likes of Reece James ahead of him. And Jody Morrison. Jody Morrison was Frank Lampard's assistant, and he was the guy who virtually looked after the junior team as they came through. And Jody kept on telling Lampard that this guy is the next big team. And Lampard would go back to him and say, but Reece James is good. So they gave him a chance against Arsenal. Tariq made his first Chelsea debut against Arsenal at the Emirates.
Wow.
And in that 15 minutes they gave him, he showed everything that you need to see in a modern day football. He got the first time he catch the ball, it was forward. Normally, young players, when you give them the ball, they are edgy, so they're looking for the safest pass so they don't make a mistake. Tariq's first touch was forward and kept running. And in that single move, you saw everything. You saw his mentality that he never takes the ball back. He's always going towards opposition front. He's got that edge. I want to beat my teammates. And so for me, sometimes you'd say player is really good with pacey and all that, but you need a player who can adapt to adversity. And when he started playing at Brighton, everybody said, oh, this guy is flying and is killing. And then he had a bad injury. And it took him out for half of the season. And when he started getting fitness back, he's come back into the team, not playing as a right back again, but as a wing back. And he's killing it at the moment. And that's what excites me about all the players that are coming. Because one, he's young. Two, his adaptability. But the most important thing, that mindset is what's going to take him places.
Wow. Interesting stuff. I have a lot more comments. Let me read a few. We're still talking Black Stars. We will also hear about Stefan Ambrosius, Patrick Fefa, Ransford-Yeboah. I haven't heard some of these guys before. Bernard, I think the Black Stars will do well at the World Cup if players stop using Juju and Malam tactics to scare other players. Players should know that Juju and Malam is yet to win Ghana a trophy. This is Joe from Kumasi. GFA, please show Chelsea how to sign players. But on a serious note, we have players. We have to play to the strength of the players. I've watched most Ghana matches and keep complaining that our strength is the wings, but we mostly don't usually perfect it. Tariq is my favorite now. We are moving forward. The GFA should try to improve the local league as well. Tactic from Keta. The inclusion of the 5 players is very good. GFA has done a great job. I wish they train and work together. Kojo Amu and says, I think opportunities should be given to local players as they prepare for the World Cup. I think we are too fixated on foreign players. Ishmael from Chinderi says, I'm very happy for Salisu joining the team. Let me ask a quick question about Salisu. Did you ever talk to him about why he never wanted to play for Ghana initially? What was happening?
He would never tell me. He would never tell me. That's the problem. I've spoken to Mo severally about the national team, and all he kept saying that it wasn't in his hand. I'm glad he's decided to play now. And like Daniel said, he's a left-footed centre-back, and these days their goal dust is difficult to get a left-footed centre-back because of their passing range and why everybody wants to use them. But I'm happy he's here. He adds.
How highly rated is he in England? What do the papers say about him?
No, he's not. He's not highly rated. He's promising. In England, he's promising. Yeah, he's promising. It took him a while to get going. When he first came, he couldn't get into the team. Hassan Hato had to severally, they asked him questions why he had signed Salisu and wasn't playing. He said he wasn't ready. And once he was ready, he killed it. And then the thing about Salisu, a lot of Ghanaians don't realize is that even though he's got so many good things, there's a mistake in him. Sometimes he makes odd mistakes that could lead to dangerous things, and that's why his games need polishing. If he can get that concentration, 90 minutes, he's as big as Virgil van Dijk, because he's big, he's tall, his reading of the game is good, his passing is decent, and he's incredibly young also and built like a mountain. He's got every attribute to be top class, but he's got a mistake in him. And I'm curious to see, especially the next two seasons, to see where his game can go to. But for Ghana, it's an incredible addition. He really is.
Wow. Interesting stuff. When we come back, we'll learn about Patrick Fefa. Never heard that guy's name before, but I'm sure we'll hear about him. Also, Ambrosius. And then Yeboah. This is the point of view. Tonight is about the Black Stars. How well will they do at the World Cup? I have Danny K. He's called Oh Charlie. And by the way, Rahman will be on Sports Panorama on Friday. He's making a very serious appearance. So it's powerful. Watch out for Sports Panorama on Friday on radio. But we'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. So tonight we're talking sports, Black Stars. Daniel, take me through the rest of the people. Who is Patrick Fefa? Who is Stephen Ambrosius? Who is Ransford-Yeboah?
Ambrosius, Fefa, they are centre-backs.
Defenders?
Yeah, defenders.
Okay.
Ambrosius plays for Hamburg.
Okay.
In fact, he broke into the Germany under-21 team 2 seasons ago.
Ambrosius?
Yes. In fact, Ghana approached him. Siki Akono approached him. He turned us down.
How old is he?
He's 23.
Very young.
Yeah, but very strong.
Hamburg.
Yeah, Hamburg, very strong. The only downside about him is that he ruptured his ACL 2 seasons ago. So the whole of last season he didn't play. So these numbers are from, if you can see, 2020.
He must be quick.
Yes, he's
it's
very
quick
strong.
Players who do ACL.
Exactly. He's quick, he's strong, has a good passing range. So for him, I'm not too sure because we've not seen him in a year. Okay. But it's Pfeiffer who excites me.
Patrick Pfeiffer.
Yeah. He's 1.96 meters. He's tall.
Is it NBA or football?
I'm telling you, he's like
1.9.
1.96. That's how tall he is.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and he's very comfortable with the ball at his feet. And it just fits into modern day centre backs. The ability to pass the ball, comfortable on the left, comfortable on the right. And he has decent pace for somebody who is that tall and very strong also. And all these things boil down to options. When you have options, you have a pool of centre backs, very good centre backs, very good midfielders. You have the options to pick and choose who can fit into your system. So that is what excites me. You see, Bernard, when you look at the profile of these players, Salisu is 23, Pfeiffer is 22, Ambrosius is 23, Lamptey is 21, Ransford-Yeboah is 20, Antoine Semenyo, who joined in the last window, 22. You can even bring in Elisha Owusu, who played when we were doing in the playoff against Nigeria. He's 24. We constantly talk about rebuilding the Black Stars for the future.
So this is the future of the Black Stars?
This is the future. A sustainable team, a team that can go on for 5-6 years. And when you look at the ages of these guys, their career trajectory, you can tell that these are guys who just keep, at least 10 years from now, they'll still be on the top.
Who is Ransford-Yeboah?
He plays for Hamburg.
Hamburg.
Yes, he's Ambrosius' teammate. He's a wide man, a winger.
So this is Bundesliga?
Yeah, Bundesliga 2.
Okay, Bundesliga 2.
Bundesliga 2.
What other name is there? Ransford-Yeboah what?
We can't pronounce it.
Hey, what's that?
He can't pronounce it. But I'm sure he used Ransford-Yeboah. He can't come and use his name in Ghana.
So these guys were born in Germany to Ghanaian parents?
And he has some good numbers.
I'm told there are lots of good Ghanaian players in Bundesliga B. Is that correct?
Well, there are a lot of Ghanaian players also in the Championship and in the League One. And that's the beauty about these guys who now want to play the connection between the continental Africans and the diaspora Africans. It's a good fuse. I'm happy they're all now rearing their heads and trying to play for us. There are a lot of things it brings. The visibility, like we said in the beginning, a lot of more country people will be aware of where Ghana is. in the Basque part of Spain now, almost everybody will be Googling and see where Inaki wants to play. In some small part of Germany, in all that, because these guys are coming to play for us, is good. So for the country overall, it's such a good thing that we are able to attract these players who want to play for us. It's just that for me, I don't know whether it's good because the country is different from the team.
How important will Andre Ayew be in their integration? Because we know Andre spent a lot of time in France. He's like the leader of the team now.
He's massive. Andre is always massive, especially with young or new players coming in. If you speak to some of the players, especially the young ones who are now coming in, Kamal, Kudus, Isako, the guidance, the pedigree, and they're lucky to have somebody like Ayew who's been there and seen it. Ayew's played at the World Cup, scored against Manuel Neuer at the biggest stage any footballer can do. When he was in his pomp, he was unbelievably one of the best African players in the Premier League. Before your Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah, it was Andre Ayew who was scoring against Manchester United and Chelsea and all that. And that aura and that authority as a leader, and you can even still see it that even these days, when Ghana is struggling, he's the one that's leading with the fight. And there are people, there are players who say that if he was on the pitch against Comoros, Ghana wouldn't have been evicted from the African Cup nation. So there's no question about how massive he will be for the integration. And remember, he's multilingual, speaks French, speaks English, speaks Ga, which people don't know, speaks Chi. You can combine languages in different ways. And so his integration and who he is as a leader, as a person.
So is he happy? Is he happy with these additions?
Well, I saw a tweet from him saying, "Welcome home with Inaki." So he must surely be happy. One thing every Ghanaian knows. They're ambitious, and one of the reasons why he's ambitious is
Well, we're losing you now. Let me come back to Daniel quickly. I see.
So she's running out of time.
Yeah. I see Wakaso's photo behind.
Yeah, go on. I didn't catch it.
I see Wakaso's picture behind you. Danielle Cranting said to me during the break that Wakaso has to be in the team because we need him to tell Uruguay that they are small boys. He's basically like the fighter. What do you think about Wakaso? Some people say he's not playing actively in any league, so he doesn't need to be in the team. What do you make of that? I don't think you got my question. I was asking about Wakaso. I see his photo behind you. Is he still good enough for the Black Stars?
Yeah, I think so. I think that he's got things that the Black Stars normally doesn't have, and that's strength and that's experience. And I think that for some reason, a lot of the coaches that come still pick Wakaso, which is quite really, really interesting because a lot of the time, fans say, oh, he's gone past his best date. But every manager, even the current manager, Osado, knew Walker had not played football in a very long time, yet still wanted him to be part of the team. That should tell us something, doesn't it?
I was telling Daniel, maybe he has the Anduru, like he has the power to tell them.
Yeah, no, I think that a lot of in the last 5 national team managers we've had, there's always been an asterisk on Wakaso's inclusion. Yet the managers actually pick him.
That should tell us something.
Yeah.
What do you think about Wakaso?
Yeah, it's true. Look, we need him. We don't have somebody like that. When we talk about the personality, the fight, if you take away Andre, you take away to some extent Jordan, Wakaso is the guy.
The fighter.
And I always tell football fans, it's not just lining up a dream 11 and it's not FIFA we are playing. Personalities count. When you walk onto the pitch, that's what I was telling you in the break. You can't go and face Uruguay. Players
if Ronaldo is playing for Portugal, Wakaso will look at Ronaldo and say,
look, he's not afraid. He's going to fight no matter what.
Okay.
Just recently, look at the 2019 AFCON. When everybody was slacking on the field, he was the one fighting. You look at the decisive game we played against South Africa.
Yeah.
That final game that we had to win at Cape Coast, that took us to the playoff. For me, he was the best player on the pitch. He kept on fighting. And you see, you need players like that. He may be past his best.
So he will go to Qatar.
He will go.
Wakaso will go.
He will go. He has to go. He has to be part.
And,
Because, better look, Uruguay, you look at Valverde.
Just to add that, I was really, to be fair to Ghanaians, I think that when Waka is playing club football, a lot of Ghanaians love him. The main reason people were upset recently was because he wasn't playing and was included. If Walker is playing club football and fit enough, I think a lot of Ghanaians agree that he has an aggressive edge that is needed in tournament football.
Wow.
And that he does really play out with his heart. And I think the least every citizen wants, whether you win or lose, they want you to leave everything on the pitch.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let me end with a few players. Bernard, I think the Black Stars will do well at the World Cup. I've heard many people criticize these new recruits, calling them opportunists. The primary argument such critics make is that players should be called into the Black Stars for purely patriotic reasons. Of course, however, every player called into our national team has some selfish motivation, project their careers, get a chance to play in the World Cup, etc. Let's not be naive here. I do not care who gets called and at what point, as long as they have the quality. Kudos to care.
Yeah.
This is from Professor Agboka. I think we cannot associate with that. Raman, thank you for being on the show. And Baka de Salah to you. Enjoy responsibly.
Thank you for having me. So it's a pleasure, Bernard.
And Daniel, I can't wait for Friday's show on radio. I think you guys have created, I think, the best sports radio show I've ever listened to. So what are we doing on Friday?
It's Black Stars.
Black Stars.
Black Stars.
Black Stars.
Black Stars and don't call me.
You don't call me some people in. And don't call me some out.
Some out. Very
I
important.
trust you. Danielle Cranting is my guest in studio. He's from Citi Sports Desk. Thank you for watching. Hope we've given you something to smile about. It's been a difficult week for Ghana. Go Ghana, go. Qatar 2022, here we come. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.